Sasuke Uchiha is known far and wide as the most powerful ninja who isn't named Naruto Uzumaki. So, what do you think would happen if you put the second strongest person alive in a prison with a bunch of other prisoners and that person is more north than usual? Well, that's exactly what happened during the events of Sasuke Resident, which is set further in the Boruto timeline than where the anime currently is. Like I've covered in a few other videos, the events of Sasuke Resident takes place in the second installment of a 3-part series that finds Hokage Naruto fighting off a deadly illness that is rapidly eating away at his health. This is the very same chakra illness that once affected the Sage of Six Paths, and it was during his time living in the Radaku country that a cure was found for his illness, because Kurama revealed that Naruto's deadly chakra illness is the very same one that the Sage of Six Paths once had. The members of Team 7 rush off in search of answers for a cure. Kakashi is searching in the metropolis of the Radaku country, and Sasuke and Sakura find themselves undercover at a prison. Sasuke pretends to be a prisoner and Sakura pretends to be a nurse, with both of them going undercover, using their undercover identities as a way to gather crucial intel, all in the hopes of finding a cure for Naruto. For more information on Sasuke and Sakura's mission to find a cure for Naruto, check out the Sasuke Resident playlist I have on the channel, and I'm currently working on videos about the Kakashi Resident since a lot of you guys have been asking for that as well. Early on in the story, on more than one occasion, we see just how deeply Sasuke is affected by the dire straits that Naruto's in. The declining health of his best friend sees Sasuke in a tad bit moodier mood than he usually is, and most importantly, Sasuke's emotions begin to unravel, showing us just how deeply the bond between the two rivals truly extends. It's in the very beginning of this novel that we learn the harsh conditions of the prison that Sasuke is staying in, where the temperatures are well below freezing and prisoners are subjected to insanely harsh work conditions, out in the elements and only being fed twice a day. The prisoner who we follow early on was sentenced to jail for the murder of 4 people. He broke into a house to steal food and money and tied up a family after they saw his face. The people ended up not being found until days later, after they'd already frozen to death. His actions to secure a warm meal and money ended up getting him sent to the prison that Sasuke is currently in. It's directly after this revelation that we catch a glimpse into how the other prisoners view Sasuke, and it's here that we learn of Sasuke's warning, the thinly veiled threat, and it's packed with a promise as he speaks it. What I'll do for you guys now is cover the scene in question, then come back to you guys with my thoughts, and it's here I'm gonna begin quoting. The lives of the prisoners were being controlled by the sound of the bell. I was exhausted when the dull ring sound, and prisoners began to get up like zombies. If you oversleep, they will recklessly be betrayed by the guards who watch over them, so they are all correct in time. I go out of the room yawning and eat twice a day, and I thought I'll just eat a pig or whatever suspicious meat they offer. Standing in line, extending the length of the dining room, he took one breath and suppressed his feelings. Contrary to the weight of his sleepy body, his nerves were clear and they were excited. Even if some guy were to decide to enter into the side of the line and step on his foot in the process, he would not care this morning, even if the man behind him vomited in almost the immediate vicinity of his ear. I'm leaving here today. We're out of here. After receiving his breakfast, the man looked around the hall, which was packed with prisoners. If you're gonna escape regardless, talk to the man who wants to invite you. The guy I was looking for was sitting in his usual seat by the window. Inmate number 487, Sasuke. It's bothering him that he is unfriendly and always looks like a cat, but it's also a bother because he's so strong that no one can take him out with just their hands. The warning emitting from Sasuke's mouth was very simple: don't get in my way. For most prisoners, Sasuke is hard to wrap your head around. End quote. So what I really like about this moment here, which shout out to Bethany Rose on Twitter for translating the prologue of this novel, as well as the entirety of the Sasuke Resident novel, what I really like about this is that in these brief moments you see not just how the other prisoners view Sasuke, but you also catch a glimpse at the anger and the heavy burden that Sasuke is carrying while he's undercover. One tool in literature is that if the author wants to add layers to the character or present new information about the character without having the character express it themselves, a nice craft tool to use is to have the character be seen through the lens of another character in the same universe. The prisoners don't know why Sasuke is so determined not to associate with the other prisoners unless he's spoken to. He really just keeps to himself most of the time, looking out the window, and is quick to warn someone not to get in his way, and when Sasuke speaks there's usually a purpose, like when Sasuke cheated during the gambling event that that happens in the first chapter of the story. Just with those few details, we learn that Sasuke is bothered by what we as readers know is the illness that has quickly taken the health of Naruto Uzumaki and could potentially kill him. He's looking out the window, reflecting on the circumstances that brought him to the prison in the Radaku country, surrounded by people that Sasuke openly calls the lowest of the low. His mind is mostly on finding a cure for Naruto, his frustration at not being able to do anything for the friend who never gave up on him. This is what led Sasuke to rushing into the prison without gathering full information before doing so. In a very rare moment for Sasuke, we see him acting irrationally while ironically being driven by a calculated person. Just as he charged into the 5 Kage Summit venue, fueled by anger and vengeance, yet still channeling those emotions to carry out his goal, we see Sasuke similarly carrying out his anger and channeling in a way to where he's being productive, and it's because he's not able to save Naruto, and his fear of losing someone that he views like a brother to an illness just like he lost his real brother Itachi is something that weighs on Sasuke. We see Sasuke dive into his mission to gather intel for a cure, and he does so head first because he's determined not to lose Naruto. When he tells the prisoners to stay out his way, it isn't just in respect to carrying out his day-to-day activities, it's also because he's racing against time in order to find a cure for Naruto. In just those few lines, the author sets up so much for Sasuke, and as the story continues onward, it makes Sasuke standing out the window and staring at it in deep thoughts, and his warning to not be bothered make all the more sense as you get more information. This is just as much of an emotional roller coaster for Sasuke as it's a desperate struggle for Naruto to stay alive from the illness that's eating away at his health. Finally, what I really love about this novel is how it carries out something that we've seen countless times in the other novels set after Naruto Shippuden. Everyone knows the name of Sasuke Uchiha, but nobody recognizes Sasuke until he shows off his Sharingan. In the Akatsuki Hiden novel, after Sarada is born and Sasuke's returning home to Konoha, he meets 2 young boys in the Land of Fire who don't even recognize him. His Rinnegan is covered up by his long hair, which during the events of this novel is actually longer than usual. His Sharingan is deactivated, with Sasuke only activating his Sharingan when absolutely necessary. During the events of the Sasuke Shinden novel, which is set just before the Akatsuki Hiden novel, Chino has a strong suspicion who Sasuke really is when she first sees him, but it's only once he starts to fight early on in the novel and his Sharingan briefly activates that she knows for sure that the man in front of her is actually Sasuke Uchiha. When you really think about it, Sasuke is more of a legend than he is a man, with people knowing the name and knowing about his dojutsu, but the man himself is a mystery to those who are not from Konoha or ninja from the other villages. It's very similar to what you see in One Piece with Luffy, where the common people are shocked that Luffy was a scrawny teenager and not some hulking figure like the citizens in Dressrosa stated in the manga during his fight with Doflamingo. While in prison, Sasuke for the most part is just an ordinary prisoner, but this passage also shows us that Sasuke has made it clear that he isn't someone to be tested, with the line stating that he was strong enough that no one can take him out with just their bare hands. It's a race against time to save Naruto, and Sasuke carries a burden that cannot be underrated. He couldn't save his brother Itachi, but his non-biological brother Naruto Uzumaki gives Sasuke a chance to make up for that by delivering a cure that saves Naruto's life. I want to know from you guys, how do you feel about Sasuke being in jail, and what do you think about the idea that this mission is in a way some type of a redemption journey for Sasuke, where he can save the life of Naruto, the very same person who saved Sasuke from the darkness? Do you think that the idea of Sasuke finally being able to save a brother from death is actually poetic, given the fact that Naruto once told Itachi that he's more of a brother to Sasuke than Itachi could ever be? Let me know what you guys think down below. I'll have more Sasuke Retsuden videos in the future, and so as to not alienate the anime only fans, I'll have a second video dropping each day I do Sasuke Retsuden, at least for the meantime, so the anime only viewers don't feel left out. But as always guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day guys.